Welcome back, I'm Pocket What If, I'm the what ifer in your pocket. So I'm testing this text-to-speech device and see if this would work in making future videos. So let's hope it works, shall we? Also, I apologize that I haven't been able, but with this I could make some traction, but at the cost of quality. Other than that, let's begin. So the 200 subscriber special poll has gone up to 18 votes. You guys need 32 more votes to get that special, and it looks like What If Izuku had Ashura's Wrath could be the winner, but I wouldn't count out What If Izuku had Carnage. As well, guys, do not forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video so I know to make more, comment down below so I can get some ideas, and share this video with friends and the like, and please press that notification bell to know the videos that I drop. Now guys, let's begin with part 18 of What If Izuku had Hybrid. Now from the last part, Izuku or Riot just finished helping the heroes stop a large armed deal with Kingpin's men and the Yakuzas, but was put into a situation. Come and join Mirko's agency or be stuck running from the law. Now we cut to Izuku and the symbiotes and their small apartment. As Izuku walked through the wall and collapsed onto the bed, he began to think on Mirko's offer, but chuckled at the idea. As then Riot spoke up. Izuku, come on, you at least think about it a little more. Come on Riot, do you honestly, that rabbit-eared, fluff-tail hero would take us on as equals or even as an apprentice, said Izuku in a mocking tone. As then another voice appeared within Izuku's mind. The voice was much scratchier than Riot's. Izuku, it could be worse. Lasher, I know you're trying to help, but not right now. As Lasher continued to speak. Come on, I mean, think about it. If we do join, we could go back fighting villains again, as Lasher says. Lasher, we are already fighting villains. Hell, we fight villains when we are fighting at the arenas, as Izuku stated. As another voice appears, as one with a bit more feminine tone. Izuku, we all know what this is about, as Izuku just grunted in annoyance, expecting the coming conversation. You still have trust issues as well. As then Izuku interrupted, saying out loud, Agony, do not play psychoanalysis with me. Read my lips, I am. Fine, I am a ray of sunshine. As voice appears bit higher than the others, really, more like a ray where the sun don't shine, the voice ended. Phage, what the heck, Izuku said in aggravation. As Phage scoffed. Then Riot stepped in. I guess, I have to say it. Izuku, we are bored. As Izuku looked puzzled. Izuku was have been fighting the same old weak henchmen for over 6 to 7 months. And not even the good henchmen. They've been little to no effort on your end on the best of days, or none for ours. And fighting in the arena is a absolute cop-out. They only happen like every 3 days or so. We have already used some of the biggest competitors in the hospital or into prison. We got no one to fight. Izuku at this point started to get disinterested. But this raid was spectacular. We got to use our abilities near to without restraint. Especially what we did to Bullseye, the absolute fear we put into that man was fantastic. How his eyes dilated with dread knowing who we are, what we are was delicious. And how we beaten the Yakuzas brings me joy. And you think we shouldn't at least be tempted by the offer, is idiotic, Izuku. As Izuku groans and then explains. Riot, we are not going through this again. This is somewhat the same thing we did with Spider-Man, for God's sake. We gain some new abilities and feeling alone and heck, checking and testing our abilities out time to time, then by some miracle, we get taken in by some hero heck, maybe someone we looked up to. We get trained, we help time to time, we get recognition and we will feel amazing. But by the end of the day, we will be nothing more than an expendable arm that one day needs to be chopped off, and only God knows what will happen then. I may get sent to the Inhumans on the moon, you guys get tortured and experimented for the rest of your days, and maybe one day, be bonded in a host, who gives less than a rat's ass about you, and probably die by some bull knowing this planet and never being missed or remembered. And no one weeping after you're gone. As Izuku begins to tear up. As another voice appears, this one more gravelly than the others. Izuku. I am not going to pretend that everything, so far since I have been here with you guys, been good, as he says it with a questionable tone. But I know you can get through it, you are much stronger than you think. Sure, it may be tough now, but it will be better sooner or later. Toxin, I appreciate what you are trying to say, but sooner or later, he say with a loud boast. I would like it to be now if available. And then Riot spoke. Izuku, just give it a try please. If it fails it will be on me, but please, for the sake of our collective sanity, just try it for a couple weeks, maybe a month. And if it doesn't work out, all the blame can be put entirely on me. But please just try it out, Riot said. As Riot finishes his speech, Izuku eventually ceded. As then Riot, Lasher, Agony, Phage and Toxin holler in victory, but in Izuku's mind he is slightly aggravated but hopes that he doesn't regret his decision. Later we cut to Izuku standing on top of a 12-story building at 7 a.m. staring through his scope 3 blocks away, and on the 8th floor seeing Mirko pacing back and forth like she waiting for something. Or as the symbiotes suspected. Someone. As Izuku takes a deep breath and exhaled, he says. Alright. Let's start a riot. As yellow slime and tendrils come forth from the collar from his shirt and from the hood of his jacket. Morphing into a mask, as then he cracks his neck as he swings off towards Mirko's hero agency. As when he land on the concrete wall of the building and turns invisible and began to climb towards the 8th. Later Riot climbed up to Mirko's floor. But when he got there, he saw not just Mirko but 3 other heroes. And it looked like she was talking to them, so Riot phased his head through the glass window to peek into the conversation. As we cut into Mirko's conversation. As Mirko begins to say. So how long do you think it will take before we can tell which of these interns shows some promise? As one of the heroes just says. I don't know, Miss Mirko, it may depend, villain activity has been quite low lately. Well then get out there, find some villainous Marines, and hurl the interns at them, said Mirko. As you wish. As the hero scurries away. As the 2 other heroes stand there patiently. So have you 2 found anything about them yet? Mirko said. No ma'am, we haven't, they said in unison. How the mighty all might, you 2 haven't found anything about him, Mirko said. Well Miss Mirko, what we have found out so far, he only been around for a few months, one hero said. While the other says. And most of those sightings you have been there or other heroes trying to capture him, and the illegal fighting rings and his vigilante work as well, those he has fought, the hero said. Okay, tell me what you found. Well. For one man, both of his abilities and general personality are inconsistent at best, but I have thankfully thanks to some heroes who have fought him plus some who have fought him in the rings. So the abilities I can absolutely confirm is his ability to phase though objects. But I don't know the extent of it, as well the ability to create tendrils and other weapons from his jacket, also increased strength, speed, agility, and I haven't confirmed it, but I suspect he may have some sort of danger sensing ability, said the hero. As Mirko's eyes opened in shock. And in her mind, she is thinking, he has so many abilities, and those are just confirmed ones, is he a mutant? Or some kind of hybrid? No, hybrids usually have a power in coalition to their own power. I mean, some may have a difference in their abilities, but never to this extent. I wonder what else he is capable of. As her thoughts get interrupted. Ma'am, I have heard rumors that you invited him to the agency. Is that correct? Said one of the heroes. It may be why she asked. Well ma'am, we usually don't offer this to vigilantes ma'am, it is kind of strange, you must admit, the hero said jokingly. I do agree it is strange, but he is a strange man after all. Oh Mirko. You're going to make me blush. As she turns around seeing Riot hanging off of her ceiling. And instinctively try to swing her leg at him, but he catches her leg. Oh come on Rabbit Tail, you could do way better than that. As she blushes at the response. You're early, she says. Well of course. How could I miss this great opportunity to work with the 135th best hero in Japan, he said coyly. As she frowns at his remarks. As then the dark yellow mask of Riot began to move and looked like it was grinning. Smiling deviously. As Riot lets go of Mirko's leg and dropped down from the ceiling. Then Riot said, so. What do we do now? As she smiles at the response. Well, I have something prepared. As she begins to walk. Interested, Riot follows her into a large room. As Riot begins to absorb the size of the room. His spider senses tingle as Mirko attacks him from behind with a large kick to the head as Riot phases through her attack. As Mirko says that was quite cheap using his phasing. Then Riot laughs as he just says. Ain't the rabbit calling the fox's tail fluffy? As she begins her merciless attack on Riot as her attack never connects. Bouncing around the room at high speed, even creating craters around the room. As then she goes for a sweeping kick at his feet as then she make contact with the bed of his heel. As Riot begins to fall over. In his head had one thought. One idea. What? Fee. As he falls on the ground he just says. How? As Mirko replies. Well, I figured that you must have some part of you unfaced so you can keep standing. Unless you had the ability to float. Which you don't, so it was a matter of time before I found it, she said with a grin. Okay, you got me on that. So I assume there are others with my ability, he said. Well of course. Namely, there is a up-and-coming hero who is an intern with the ability to phase, but not to your level that he can keep his clothes on, she said. Okay, I understood that, he said. So I'm just going to ask, are those clothes actually clothes or are they something that is a part of you, she said seriously. As in Riot head they had a conversation. She figuring us out, said Lasher. No of course not, she just plainly guessing. No need for worry, said Phage. I don't know, she smells like that, she is, said Toxin. Toinks, your scent only tell thing, such as worry or that she had a workout and so far she just bounced around the room for at least 15 minutes. So I say she is just sweating, said Riot. Okay, let's just say that these clothes are specially made, said Izuku. Alright, let's go with that, they all said. Well Mirko, these clothes are specially made for me, said Riot. Like when you were a part of the spider family at New York. As Riot's eyes dilate, think, how did she know? So is it easy to assume that you're the Scarlet Arachnid? As Izuku and the other symbiotes panic, saying in unison. How? Does she know? As she smiles at the response. As then she says, it wasn't that hard to figure out. The Scarlet Arachnid and you had similar abilities except for the phasing, but I could just chalk that up to how you disappear. Izuku sigh in relief that she doesn't know that he can turn invisible. So what now, he says. Well, it's still morning, so why not go on patrol, as she leans into him. As Riot's mask turn a noticeable shade of crimson. Sure, Riot said. As she began to walk away and said, well. Then let's go, she says. As Riot got up and walked with Mirko to be on patrol. Later Riot is swinging, while Mirko is leaping atop of building after building. As then a robbery was taking place. As two large goons were running away, shooting at both civilians and heroes on the ground. As one of the goons had a gun-based quirk. While the other had blade-based quirk. As they both guarded for each other, for their partner's weakness. As the villains were getting away. As Mirko just say. Well, this is perfect. As the Riot say, what do you mean perfect? Well, this is a perfect situation for you to prove yourself. Prove myself? What about that raid? Wasn't I proving myself there? Well, that was then, this is now. Now go on and kick some ass. Also, I'm adding a handicap, she said. Handicap, Riot repeated. You cannot use your phasing nor can you use that sniper rifle of yours, she said. As Riot just gave her a look of confusion. Well, that ain't going to be efficient, he said with annoyance. Well, I want to see you handle his without your favorite toys, she said mockingly. As Riot just grunted in annoyance as leapt down to the ground floor. As both villains see Riot as they ask, "Hey, what are you supposed to be? Our friendly neighborhood fashion disaster?" As the other villains say, "No, no, our spectacular dumpster diver." As in that instance the right hand of Riot became a spiked mace and the other hand, sharp claws. As then he says, "Spectacular yes, friendly I am not. And I going to show you two how to start a riot." As Riot swings the spiked mace forward attempting to slam the mace at the two villains but they both jump over it. As then Riot bends the mace at a 125-degree angle and slam both of the villains to the ground. But the villain with the blade quirk gets back up. As then they rush at Riot. But Riot just steps forward, creates a small bump on his left hand. And the villain creates blades on his fingers and try to pierce him. But Riot just raises his left hand, just bitch slaps the villain across the face sending them flying. As both villains were taken out quite quickly as the civilians come out seeing Riot beat both villains without much property damage. As Mirko comes right behind him, as just say that was very imperative little arachnid. "Please, if we are doing this I request that you don't call me that," he said with a bit of anger. Loud and clear slugger she says. "So do you want to be a hero?" she asked. As Izuku thought of it. "Give me some time to think about it," he said. "Sure, just don't think too long."
And so, guys, I'm going to end it off there. And, guys, this was a bit of trouble trying to understand how the text-to-speech thing worked. But I got it to work, finally. I mean, sure, there have been a few spaces between the words here and there, but so far, it has worked really well. And so, I will be trying this tactic with two other what ifs. What if Izuku was Bloodhound and had a Yaoju girlfriend? And what if Yuzaki was in MHA? While other what ifs, such as what if Izuku was Hellbat? What if Izuku was the grandson of Tanya the Evil? And what if Izuku was the son of Doom are going to be voiced? Just know that all 6 of these series, plus the ones after, are going to be very much loved. Now, whatever the next series is going to be, depends on how people will react. Will that would need to be, text to speech, or will it be voiced? Just know if that what if it's going to be voiced, it's going to take a little bit longer than those with text to speech. The only reason it took so long to get this one off the ground was because, well, I had to erase all the original voice work for it and just tried to, type out the script for this what if. Now I got it down, it's going to take a lot less. So, that's good. Yippee. So, guys, thank you for listening to this what if. Please leave your comments down below and tell me what do I have to work on when it comes to this? Do I have to do a little more improving, or do you guys just hate it outright, or you guys love it? I want to know. So, guys, please subscribe to this channel. Like this video so I can know what you guys want. Comment down below so I can get some ideas. Share this video with some friends. And, guys, don't forget to hit that notification bell. And, guys, have a nice day, nice life. And see you in the next part.